When we first started this company 20 years ago, I would never have dreamed it would turn into all of this. Over 2,500 full-time employees, over 200,000 independent marketing executives, and hundreds of thousands of preferred customers that buy from us every month. Actually, it all started 21 years ago with a different company that had a very short life. Roger Ball, a longtime friend of mine, called me up and asked me if I would be the CEO for a new company that he, his brother, and a friend from Australia had started 3 months earlier. He told me that this new company was selling Melaleuca oil that came from the Australian tea tree. At first, I was not interested in joining this new company. I had a great job as Vice President for Cox Communication in Vancouver, Washington. I could not imagine leaving my job, but I had just built a new home, and I wanted to pay off the $150,000 I owed on that house. So at first, I turned them down. But then they offered me a handsome bonus plan, and if Roger's projections came true, I would have enough money to pay off my home in Vancouver in a very short time. I committed to come to work for them for 18 months. The plan was to get the company started and then to return to my home in Vancouver. I was 36 years old then, and as awful as this sounds, I have to admit that my main motivation was my own rice bowl. I wanted to pay off that house. So I accepted the job with no clue whatsoever that this would lead to an opportunity to enhance lives. Roger had explained to me that this new company was a multi-level company. Now, I had grown up in corporate America and did not know much about multi-level marketing. But I was soon to get a lesson that I would never forget. The company had already been in business for 3 months. It was a typical MLM company. They had established a system where you could buy yourself all the way to the highest level, a gold koala, by purchasing an inventory of $5,000 worth of products. Like many typical multi-level companies, this little company's growth soared, based on signing up new people and not based on customers actually using the product. As people discovered that it was tough to get rid of their $5,000 worth of inventory, it became clear to me that I had signed on with a company that was helping some people but hurting others. Sales were doing great, but people were getting hurt. The guys at the top of the pyramid were prospering from the purchases of the new guys getting in. And as typical in multi-level marketing, the guys on top were showing people their checks to entice others to make the $5,000 investment. It did not take long for me to figure out that it was all a money deal based on getting people to purchase an inventory to get set up in business. That did not feel good to me, nor did I believe it would work over the long term. I believe the only long-term successful business model is real people buying real product because they really want it. I began to worry about what I'd gotten myself into, and the more I learned about multi-level, the more I did not like it. I heard of people making fantastic claims about our products that could not be backed up by science. I learned of some people who were telling prospects they were making a lot more money than they really were making in hopes that that would make the story more enticing. That's when I learned that they had been taught by multi-level folks that in multi-level, you have to fake it till you make it. And that's when I understood why multi-level marketing had such a bad reputation. In short, the MLM business model was the opposite of what I had learned in corporate America. But the problem with multi-level was with the business model itself, not with the people. The people were, for the most part, good people. Some had learned some bad concepts, but they were still good people. They just wanted to provide for their families, and they were willing to work hard to do it. I was impressed with their tenacity and their commitment to build a better life for themselves. None of them were wealthy from inheritance. To the contrary, most were middle class, and some were even poor. They were my kind of people. They had not been given a great life on a silver platter, but they were willing to work hard to provide a better life for their family. Some had climbed the corporate ladder only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall, and others had found that the ladder they were climbing already had someone on the rung above them, and others had not even found a ladder to climb. It became clear to me that there was a great need for a vehicle for these great people and others like them to get ahead in life. I had learned to love and respect these people. In most cases, I found them to have more initiative and be harder workers than many of the people I had known in corporate America. Some had had successful careers, and others had not. But they all had something in common. They wanted to provide a better life for themselves and for their family. In my short few months with that multi-level company, I learned a great deal. It was a valuable education about why multi-level marketing never has worked and never will work. But it was more than that. It was an eye-opener to me of the great need there is to reawaken the American dream. America used to be the land of opportunity where people could go into business for themselves and become wealthy. But much of that opportunity is now gone. Oh, you still hear of the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs of the world, but those stories are few and far between. There used to be tens of thousands of new entrepreneurs making their fortunes in the U.S. and Canada each year. But now you rarely hear of them. The opportunity for the little guy has now been replaced by the era of corporate mergers and leveraged buyouts, where huge companies are growing larger and have most of the opportunities all sewed up. It was not long ago when someone could start a hamburger stand or a hot dog stand on their own. But now it would be impossible to compete with the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, Wendy's, Hardee's, or Jack in the Box. Everything is done by franchise now. You even need to have a franchise just to change someone's oil. And it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a franchise. And most people just don't have that kind of money. It's almost impossible for most people to start their own business today. And yet it's a known fact that people will almost never get ahead working for someone else. The owner always prospers a lot more than the employee. That is why the poor people always end up working for the rich people. And now the average person has almost no opportunity to dig his way out by going into business for himself, because it takes too much money, and money is exactly what most people just don't have. And then comes the part that I struggle with the most. As time goes on, the business owners usually give their business to their kids, and therefore the poor people's kids end up working for the rich people's kids. And unless something happens to change it, that process will go on for generations. That seems very unfair to me. After my brief experience with that multi-level company, I realized how important it is that we create a valid vehicle for people to be able to break the cycle and provide a way for the average guy to get ahead in life. That's when I decided to check into the background of multi-level marketing to learn if the MLM model had ever been successful over time. I learned to my dismay that the only really successful MLM companies to date in 1985 had been Amway, Shaklee, and Herbalife. And it appeared that all three companies had already started slowing down in the U.S. I also learned that there had been hundreds of MLM companies that had already gone out of business. As could be expected, our business started experiencing some of the same problems. As we were deciding to close down that little multi-level company, I knew I wanted to start again with a different business model based on proven business principles as opposed to the MLM model. It would need to be a business model based on product consumption rather than inventory loading. I knew we would need a whole new product line. Now, Melaleuca oil was a great product for minor skin conditions and insect bites, but a bottle of Melaleuca oil would last for over 6 months, hardly enough monthly volume to create a booming business. But Melaleuca oil had other applications as well, and could be used in several different products. And I knew we would need many more products. So I teamed up with several scientists and product experts to create new products using properties of Melaleuca oil. And in the process, I learned that nature provides a host of other natural ingredients that solve a multitude of health problems and other conditions. And often these natural ingredients work better and have fewer side effects than those products provided by the main drug companies. I had considered striking out on my own to create such a company, but I felt the right thing to do was to stick with my friend Roger and his brother Alan. They liked the new concepts I had explained to them, so we agreed to be partners on the new company. I wanted to be sure that we would have a company that would only help people and never hurt anyone. I felt we needed a mission statement to help us stay focused on helping others. So I established our mission statement to enhance the lives of those we touch by helping people reach their goals. As our mission statement reflects, the new company had taken on an entirely new meaning to me of helping others to take charge of their life. That mission is what drives me today. I felt this was an opportunity to beat corporate America at its own game. It was an opportunity to help the little guy compete with the big guy and win. And for me, that is really fun. The so-called experts told me I was crazy to try to build a business opportunity on real product consumption rather than requiring the purchase of large inventories. We have proved them wrong. For the past 15 years, we've been the most successful direct selling company in the marketplace. Several years ago, I was asked to serve on the board of directors of the Direct Selling Association in Washington, D.C., whose members are mostly comprised of MLM companies. I served on that board for several years. We would evaluate the dozens of applications for membership that would come in each year, so I got to learn a great deal about the different MLM approaches. It's clear to me why they're not successful. They often violate the very principles that make other businesses a success. That is why we created a model that is so different from multi-level. I think it is important that people understand how different we really are. It's important to understand that when we say we're not multi-level, we're not talking about the compensation plan. We're talking about the business model itself. All corporations I know of have some type of multi-level compensation program for their sales force. Every large company, including General Motors, General Mills, and General Electric, pay their sales force on a multi-level compensation program where the salesmen get their commission from their own sales, the regional managers get their bonuses from their salespeople, the district managers make a commission on what their regional managers produce, and the division managers are paid based on what the district managers produce, and so on. So I guess from a compensation perspective, every company in the country motivates its sales force with some type of multi-level compensation program. We have no argument with that. But when we say we are not multi-level, we mean the business model itself. As in corporate America, our success has come from our superior products. We now have over 350 of them. Many are what we call jaw droppers, natural products that far exceed the effectiveness and safety of what our competitors at grocery stores or drugstores have to offer. Products like the Vitality Pack, Provex CV, Phytomega, FiberWise, Cranberrier, Cellwise, NutriView, Replenix, the Access Bar, Proflex, Sustain, Clear Power, Rustic Touch, Soluguard, Solumel, Tough and Tender, Tub and Tile, Diamond Bright, Pre-Spot, Sun Valley, Classic Tooth Polish, Nicole Miller, the Gold Bar, Aloe for Men, Melagel, Penetrate, Dermatin, Renew, Zap It, and many others. And contrary to the practice of MLM companies, we offer these products at reasonable prices. We have hundreds of thousands of households that buy from us each month at preferred customer prices, and as a company, we're growing like crazy. If anyone wonders about the success of our business model, I would refer them to this graph. It tells a story of record-breaking sales year after year. It's a story of enhancing lives. It's a story of individual financial success for thousands of independent business owners. And it indicates a very bright future for those who throw in with us. But we're only getting started. Those who join up with us have the opportunity to change their lives forever. The opportunity is almost mind-boggling. Even though we are growing at a breathtaking rate, the U.S. and Canadian population is growing even faster in sheer households than we are. That means we have an endless supply of new prospects, in addition to the 95% of North America who have never even heard of us. We have a business model and a product line that far surpasses anything that the world has seen to date. We have the science behind our products that will blow our competitors away. We are on a mission of enhancing lives. Thanks for being part of us. We could not do it without you.